Hey, welcome to Hope Scrubs and Coffee. It's Lacey. And I was thinking this morning, oh my gosh, y'all, summer is almost half over. And here's what that means. That means that we are fast tracking it to fall semester. And a lot of students, hopefully you, have orientation coming up. Those of you who are going to be new or first time. And that's really important. But here's the thing about orientation, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You're getting a lot of information in a very short period of time. So I wanted to give you some tips and tricks of things you need to remember about orientation. One, write down your questions before you come. Most of them will be answered at orientation. That's great. But hopefully at the end of the day, there'll be a time where you can ask questions, right? Two, bring something to write on, y'all. This is important, right? And maybe bring your calendar and write down important dates. You're going to get a lot of dates. You're going to get a lot of deadlines. You're going to get a lot of information. Write it down. Yes, I know they're giving you handouts, but I know that y'all take that folder and you put it somewhere and you do not open it again for weeks. Okay, write down your deadlines. Sometimes it's good to see things twice, right? It's good to see things twice. Three, you're going to meet a lot of important people. If your orientation's like ours, we bring in the people you need to know. We bring in like campus police, and hey, this is who you get a badge from. And we bring in the person in charge of like insurance on campus, and this is how you decline your insurance. Important things. One of the most important people that you're going to meet at orientation for me is the person that's in charge of accommodations. And these are our students who need extra time on tests or priority seating in a classroom. And this gentleman, you have to email him your documentation, your doctor's note, and you have to set up your accommodations. It's really important. So he is one of those people that you need to know, and you need to know his contact info. Now, most likely, if this person comes to your orientation, they will give you their contact info. But what I would do is I would write a list on orientation day, the people that you need to follow up with, right? If you've got an issue with a car and you need campus police because you need to register your vehicle, write it down. If you need to know, if you have a question about registering for class or something like that, who do you go to? Important, write it down. If you need to set up accommodations for you, please write that down and get that taken care of, right? So have your list at the end of the day of things that you need to follow up on, right? It's a punch list, things you got to get done. That's important. All right, so we're going to bring something. We're going to bring questions. We're going to bring something to write on. We're going to have a calendar. We're going to write down our important people that we need to follow up with. The next one would be don't panic, okay? You're gonna get so much information at orientation, so much information, and it's a lot, and it is easy to get overwhelmed. In fact, if you weren't overwhelmed when you leave, I would be a little worried, okay? Completely normal. So take a breath. It's a lot of info, right? And then when you go home in a day or two, go back over everything. Go back over everything, right? What did you miss? What wasn't clear? Who can you email to clarify? I always give my students my email address and say, hey, if you have a question, email me. Who wants to guess what the number one email question I get is? It's kind of funny, but it's every year. It's about shoes. It's, do these shoes meet the requirement for the dress code? And I don't mind answering. I don't, right? I'm not in charge of that, but I teach a first semester class, so I'm one of those gatekeepers, and I have a lab or a clinical in my class, so I will happily answer that question for you. The last thing, and this is also important, if at orientation you get information about your student nurse organization, contact them, join them. Here's why. One, it's an opportunity to network with other nursing students that are not in your class, your cohort, your grade, students that have been there before y'all. This is golden, okay? Network, find a mentor, find a buddy, find people, okay, that can help you and that will say, hey, yeah, I remember studying for that test. Here's some tips. Or I know that professor. Here's some thoughts, right? That's important. That's so good to know. Also, those activities that you can do with your nursing student organization look so good on your resume, but also it's a really good way to get to know your professors, and you may need them for a recommendation letter one day. I have helped with our student nurse organization in the past, and the students that I know best, that I'm willing to go to bat for a job, even jobs where I work, are the students that I know from our student nurse organization. So that's just a good to know, and it's a good way to plug in. All right, good luck at orientation, y'all.